one can lead content life if one invests effort in developing self-control. The more self-control, the more content you are with what you were given. The less self-control, the more of a fault-finding you'll have with what you're given, which means the less contentment and the more of craving for things that you don't have. So, and that's a true principle, regardless of the professed religion or the practice. It's a recognition of a certain amount of self-control through restraint, through saying no, through avoiding indulgence, because it is like the simile in the suttas. It's like scratching the itch. Say there is a skin itch that it's very unpleasant and very itchy, and then through scratching it, a person is developing a relief. Well, through scratching it, the person finds a relief from that itch, but at the same time, the actual act of scratching is making the condition that's itching even worse, which means next time it's going to itch harder and harder and harder. And that's why many people today suffer from depression, for example, because most of their life, certainly in the Western culture, we were never taught value of restraint, or if we were, it would have been in a kind of secondary manner, like patience is good, sharing is good. All these things are good is because you say no to yourself, but you don't want the circumstances to be doing it for you. You want to actually take responsibility for being able to exercise a degree of control over your sense of self, because that's how you develop strength, not through being forced into restraint just because you couldn't get it your way. So there's a fundamental difference there, and because most people, it's just what we've been taught is to go after things you want as soon as you can get them. Because of that, probably sooner than later, people, but they become numb. There isn't much because you get tired of the chase, you get tired of the pressure, you get tired of the lack of satisfaction when you do get things that you want. Why? Because now you want something else, or you want more of it. So all of those things result in developing a certain numbness, whereby, well, you're certainly not content with what you have, and you even start giving up on things that you could have because you're just tired of the chase. And that's a rudimentary form of depression. Of course, it can then become a chronic state and weigh down the mind and all the motivation and so on. But fundamentally, a person could step outside of any of those states just willingly starting to exercise a degree of self-control in regard to things throughout their daily life, in regard to their desires and wants and needs, in regard to comfort and luxury, which is usually taken for granted. You start putting some brakes on it, and also contemplating the nature of it. Mental dependence of a body being in a comfortable situation, for example, the body can be trained to start enduring more, which will make it actually more content with medium or with moderate amounts of comfort. You won't need any excess luxury and so on in order to feel pleasant. Why? Because it has developed a certain amount of resistance and training, so it can endure more. But being able to endure more means it fears less. So for a general idea of a happier, more content life, again, putting aside any ideological beliefs and views that people might have, the actual practice of self-control in regard to day-to-day life will result in increasing of the contentment with day-to-day life. And if one is content with things, one is not depressed in regard to them. So it's something worth developing, really, and above all worth teaching as well, because many people would be capable of doing it. Many people would be able to practice strength, and then actually to start understanding the value of it and of that self-control. But it's not something that a person can obtain just through mere wishing. Like you just wish that you can be in a position of self-control and then you become. No, you just have to through a repetitive drilling and efforts and those gradual increase of those restraints. So recognizing what's not necessary in your life in terms of indulgences, in terms of sensuality, in terms of comfort, in terms of luxury, and then just saying no to yourself for no other reason than to just say no to yourself to that degree of what is not necessary. It doesn't mean you give up everything and you go and live on a rock or something in a cave without any food. Well, that's just going to the other extreme. You most likely are not going to survive. But just exercising reason and intelligence in regard to the current life, in regard to many things that are in their life that are not necessary and that are not needed at all, and that your dependence on them is purely gratuitous. But it's real as such because you never question it and you never try to go against it. So in that sense, by developing strength through self-control, one becomes content with their life. More strength means more contentment.